Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to the Reptile Barn. Today, as promised, we have our products that we use, most of them, in front of us, and I'm going to walk you through the different types of items and products that we use regularly to run our reptile business. This is going to be a long vlog. I'm going to move through this kind of quickly so it doesn't drag on for an hour, but in no particular order, here we go. Right in front of me, essential piece of equipment for any reptile keeper, breeder, or just as pets, okay? This is a Temp Gun, okay? It's just got a little laser. I point it, and it tells me my hand is 93.2 degrees right now, okay? Absolutely awesome, cheap, wonderful piece of equipment. Anyone who keeps any reptile should keep one of these always, okay? For lots of things, but really you're trying to always have a good idea of every single part of your reptile's habitat. What is the temperature, okay? This is important. Next, this is a snake hook, okay? They come in many sizes. I typically use the plasticized end, and I don't really use it to pick up snakes. I don't have any venomous snakes or anything dangerous. So if I have a snake with a strong feed response and it's hoping to get fed, I just open the tank or whatever it is, I put the plasticized end in, the snake sees and smells and sometimes chews on the plastic end, realizes very quickly there's no food coming, and they calm right down and I can pick them up like normal and play with my snake, okay? Snake hooks are awesome. Of course, people who keep more dangerous animals, it's a good way to have a little distance between you and the snake. You know, if getting bit is going to be really bad. But I generally just use the little rubberized end here to kind of teach my snake that it's not feeding time. And now, you know, a year in with any given individual snake, the second they even see this, they're like, oh, okay, well, there's no food coming. So, great piece of equipment. Snake hook. These are specifically for reptiles. These are vitamin and mineral powders that you can coat insects with or salads with for an omnivorous or herbivorous reptile. This is calcium and D3. Generally, it's used more frequently than a multivitamin. In fact, there's a lot of species that you really only give calcium and D3 to. You wouldn't use the multivitamin, but just go by the most expert care advice for the species that you keep as far as how frequently, how much, and which one of these or both or whatever that you should use. But it's good to keep on hand, right? We don't really use them for any of our snakes, but we do use them for all of our lizards, especially the calcium, okay? By the way, the brand here, this is Exoterra, and this is Repcal. It's Herptivite, but there's a couple of good brands. We heard good reviews on these, and that's what we got. Okay, and they last a long time. I'll tell you that. This is heat tape. Okay, this stuff is awesome. This one is ReptileSupplyCo.com, but we actually order it from the Serpentarium, which I will talk about. This is awesome stuff. It comes in different widths for our bigger rack systems, you know, for our adult ball pythons and things. We'll use all up to like the 12-inch heat tape. This is 6-inch. It even comes in 3-inch. Really awesome stuff. It's based off of like roofing tape, you know, for snow and stuff to slide off. But this is specifically made for reptiles. And as long as it's used correctly, it's safe. Okay, so heat tape for wiring heat onto your own racks and enclosures, okay? One thing I did not pull out on the table, but that is a great piece of equipment, they're called water crystals, okay? So if you keep insects, water crystals come in handy. It's just these teeny tiny little hard crystals. You put the right volume ratio of crystals to water. The water soaks into the crystals, and you have these nice big chunks of hydrated water crystals, and the insects can drink that without drowning. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of things that we have here for insects. First off, the water crystals. You can order that on any of the Reptile Basics, the Serpentarium. I'm sure lots of the big websites for reptiles and exotics have water crystals, so you can get them anywhere. They're real cheap. It's good to have on hand if you breed your own insects for your lizards and stuff. Also for insects, especially for roaches, but for other insects too, we use egg flats. You can order these in bulk, or our family goes through so many eggs, we just use our own after we finish the eggs. But we set them upright in the bins. We don't stack them like this because then the frass, the insect poop, piles up in there and you get mold and stuff. But we set them upright like this in the bin and stack them vertically, and it adds an incredible amount of surface area inside your your insect tub, so that you can have more insects safely and comfortably. Okay, so it's just cardboard. We get the stuff with no dye, no stamps or anything, so that it's not gonna have a long-term ill effect. Even just off-gassing and stuff for your insects, because you don't want that to carry over to your reptiles. This is just a triple antibiotic ointment in case a reptile, this almost never happens, but if they get a cut or a nick or even like a blister or something, and you just want to rub a little bit on there, ask a vet, obviously, if you have any concerns about your reptile's health. I'm not saying to self-medicate your reptile, but it's still good to have on hand just for really, really minor nicks and stuff. We don't really come across it very often, but with as many animals as we have, little incidents happen. This has no dyes, it has no painkiller. You don't want to get the stuff with any additives at all. This is just a generic brand triple antibiotic. Okay, it's like a Neosporin type product. Let's see what else. This is A Mite. Okay, A Mite. We've actually heard mixed reviews on this stuff, but we really like it. It is really used mostly to combat external parasites on reptiles. Okay, you do not spray it directly onto your reptile in most cases. Read the instructions carefully and follow the instructions carefully. But we use it preventatively, right? Whenever we buy a new reptile or bring one in, we spray down the whole enclosure well beforehand with A Mite, okay? And you can buy this from Pro Products online, all right? And I'll talk a little bit more about Pro Products here at the end. This is awesome. It's just a pressurized sprayer. We have so many reptiles, and especially during shed, but really just in general, they need more humidity than we get here naturally. So you just pump it up, and then you can hold down the lever, and it will spray out, and you can twist the nozzle to get, a fine spray or a more concentrated spray, to more quickly and efficiently spray down and humidify your reptile's enclosure. Love this guy. We actually have a couple of them, and we use them every single day. Love them, love them, love them. These are just little gloves. We used to use the just regular rubber gloves, like you get them in boxes from Costco, just like a medical glove. But during this wonderfully awful pandemic, we have not been able to find them very often, so we went out and got these guys instead. And these are reusable, so it's actually probably a little better. We just use these because we spot clean every single day, every single reptile. So we pick up a lot of poop with our fingers. We don't want to get it on us, so we just use these little work gloves, right? This is a clean pair. I'm not sticking filthy gloves on my couch here. In this little container is some hydrated Reptichip, okay? Reptichip, Reptichip, Reptichip. I love this stuff. We have used other substrates for our reptiles with great success. So if you use something else, that's fine. But this, to us, has been superior to anything else. It is just pure 100% coconut, very well sourced coconut, so it's nice and clean. You can buy it just in loose bags or in compressed bricks. We obviously buy it in the compressed bricks, and we buy a lot at a time. And then you hydrate it, and it swells up, and you break it up. If you have a nice snake hook, these actually work great to break up Reptichip. And then we put it into all of our reptile enclosures, and it works awesome. The other substrate that we really like is just Spagna Moss. We just get it online. It's really expensive at the pet stores, but we like to use these for lay boxes, humid hides for some of our species that need a lot more humidity. It's really, really soft, unlike the Reptichip. It's like really soft. You don't want to get it too wet or it just gets like gross and soggy, but you get it nice and damp and it'll hold humidity for a long time without molding. Really another great substrate for reptiles and for amphibians too, I've heard. I don't keep any amphibians currently, but I've heard it's great for like frogs and stuff. This is just a little small Reptibreeze. This is a screen cage. We have custom enclosures that we build ourselves, but we also have an ARS rack for our mice breeding that we love, and it's way too huge to cart in here for this video, but it's just, you can go and onto their website. ARS is the company. It's an awesome rack system for rodents. They also do reptile racks. There's other wonderful rack companies as well, but that's the one we are familiar with, and this video is all about what we personally have used, so I can vouch for them. I know these work great, okay? We've started using a few screen cages too for animals that they just seem to like more ventilation, or we wanted cages that are more lightweight so we can move them around. They don't hold humidity, obviously, so you have to, if you have a reptile that needs any sort of humidity, you have to use foggers, okay, or a misting system or something like that. You don't want to use this for a species that needs high humidity without boosting the humidity in some other way pretty significantly, right? But really just a great little cage. We like them a lot. And we do use foggers on everything. By the way, I wanted to mention Pro Products that sells the Prevenamite. They also sell radiant heat panels that we do use. Our Dominican boas and our tree monitors have radiant heat panels, and we love that product. It's a white panel that you can just screw into the ceiling and put it on like a thermostat or something, and you can tell it exactly how much heat output. It doesn't dry out your air nearly as badly as like the heat lamps. And it's heat from above, which is more natural, unlike the heat pads and heat tape. It's just a really awesome product. I'm going to be totally honest, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to order them because they make you tell them the dimensions of your room and the temperatures and all sorts of things before they'll send you the exact size they say you need. But it's such a good product, we get them anyways, and they're just trying to do their due diligence. They're not trying to be annoying, but anyways, it is an awesome product. And I highly recommend them if you have something that you want to really, really spoil with your heat that you have for it. This is a timer. We use a ton of these. We just get them here, you know, at Walmart or wherever. This is actually a crappy little tiny one. It only has one input, but we've since gotten more inputs. We just, you know, we have so many reptiles. We don't want to be turning on and off lights and foggers and all that by hand every single morning and every single evening. So we run them on timers instead, right? These are feeding tongs. You don't have to use them exactly like these. They make them that look more like hemostats, but we like this type right here. Now, you'll notice that the rubberized tips are gone. That was on purpose. We have some animals with really sharp teeth, and a few times they had managed to bite off bits of that rubber stuff, and it was in their mouth with the food, and we did not want them swallowing that. So then I've got, you know, a monitor or a python or something, and I'm picking out this rubber bit, and it's a nightmare. So we just took them off, and the danger is, you know, that rubber is there because it's trying to protect their teeth, right? You know, if they strike really hard and hit the metal, they could break a tooth. As far as we know, that's never happened to us, so we finally decided that we were gonna try that risk for a while instead of them swallowing plastic, because that was happening to us. But either way, these normally come with rubber tips. We just took them off because that's what we decided to do. But these are nice if you don't want to risk getting bit, you know, feeding by hand. You see all the YouTubers that are feeding by hand, and I'm like, I guarantee those guys get bit sometimes. I never get bit because I use these. It's only like, I don't know, 18 inches long or something, but it is awesome when you have really aggressive feeders. This is not really a reptile product, but let me just save you guys some pain. Always have some good quality tape. We use Gorilla Tape. There's T-Rex tape. Most of the duct tape brands are crappy now. They've just gotten suckier. But we use Gorilla Tape for so many things. It feels like our business is taped together. But it's just essential. I can't tell you use it for this specific purpose, you know, and some people probably laugh at us because they're like, oh, just construct your equipment better and you'll never need... Well, you know what? If you don't have the right screws and something fell apart and you need to tape something back together temporarily so you can go to the store and get the right screws, you really want to have some of this on hand, right? It's just, I think that all humans should have duct tape or something that's like duct tape but better on hand all the time. Okay? Laugh at me if you will. I don't care. This is just light diffuser panel. We use this in all of our egg boxes. Okay? So a female lizard or snake or whatever lays eggs. We take the eggs and we're going to incubate them. All of these eggs, for the most part, want really high humidity and really low wetness. Okay? They want a lot of evaporated water in the air, right? But they don't want wet water dripping onto their actual eggshell, okay? Because then that can mold. But they need high humidity so they don't desiccate. So, instead of trying to gauge the perfect ratio of water to vermiculite or whatever substrate you're using for your incubation medium, we just soak and drench our medium so it's super, super wet, way too wet for the egg to actually be in it because it would drown. And then we put this light diffuser panel, a piece that's fitted to the inside of your egg box, and we put our eggs on top of that so that the eggs are not touching that wet substrate, but the evaporation comes up through the holes, and the entire egg box stays nice and humid. And it has increased our success rate of hatching eggs, so we really like it. The reason I brought this out is because, it's not because of any particular brand, but I just wanted to mention, if you buy hoods for your reptile heat bulbs or UV lights or whatever at the reptile section of a pet store, you're getting robbed, okay? Unless other states are totally different, you're getting robbed. We go to like either like Home Depot or Walmart or somewhere that sells hoods for like chick brooders. The wattage that these hoods can handle is way higher, and the price is way, way, way lower. As soon as something is listed for reptile use specifically, it triples in price even if it's the exact same product, okay? Now this bulb here, this is a pretty expensive bulb. This is like a 150 watt power sun. So it has UVA, UVB, and heat and visible light all from one bulb. It's expensive, but it saves us from having, you know, 6 different bulbs lined up in one little cage, right? It can just be a perfect basking spot all on its own. And we have liked them. They're temperamental. They burn out fairly easily, but because of that they're known to do that, the pet stores almost always have just replaced them for us for free. As long as we haven't had it for more than a couple of months. You know, if you happen to get a temperamental bulb that 1 week in it fizzles out, we've had them replaced for free quite frequently without any problems at all. So I really like these bulbs, but there's other ways to heat and get UV for your reptiles as well. Ah! Sorry, just had my last product fall down and knock the camera. I don't know if that's exactly where it was, but it's pretty close. This last product is a stick, okay? Again, I'm trying to help you guys out with this video. There is, in my mind, very little need to buy these super expensive woods for your reptile from a pet store or online or anything like that, okay? Generally, it's not a good use of your money, at least in my opinion. Now, a lot of you only have 1 or 2 reptiles and you want the exact piece of wood that you want, that's fine. But if you have a lot of reptiles, you're going to spend an insane amount of money on wood if you just buy reptile prepped wood. We prep our own wood by finding it outside and bringing it inside, right? Basically. Now, you don't want, you know, pests and ants and stuff to get on your reptile. Ants can be bad. So we spray down all the wood with Prevenamite outside before we bring it inside, okay? Just to kill anything that's on it. I've never had pests jump from our wood to our reptiles, ever, okay? And so it saved us a lot of money over the years, and you can use some really awesome wood for your enclosures. We never will go back to buying wood. We really won't. We go on wood runs all the time when we have new enclosures we need to fixture out. So let me talk about a couple of companies really quick. By the way, the one wood we do buy is cork tubes. Okay, they make great hides. The monitors love them. A lot of reptiles love them. So it's just, you know, a tube of hollowed out cork bark. They look really nice. They have really high resistance to like mildew and stuff, so you can use them in high humidity enclosures. We do buy those. But other than that, for just climbing branches and stuff, we just go and get our own from outside. So, let me run through a few things that I don't have here on the table, but that are great either companies or products that we do use. Again, I want to reiterate, we use all of this at the Reptile Barn, okay? We're not being sponsored by any of them. This is just a video talking about what products do we use and what companies do we use to run our business, right? The thermostats that we use exclusively are Herpstats, okay? I consider them the best thermostats for reptile use, period, bar none. We order ours from Spider Robotics, okay? That's the website, the company that makes them. Herpstats are just, they're awesome. And we've used up to Herpstat 4, maybe Herpstat 6, which just means how many inputs you can have. They can control lighting, they can control humidity, they can control temperature. You can have different temperatures for night and daytime. You have alarms if it happens to get over a certain threshold. It'll automatically shut off if like a fuse blows or something. Really, really, really high-end product. Highly recommend them. And a Herp 1 or a basic is not that expensive. It's worth it to me for the peace of mind it gives me for my reptiles, right? So we order a lot of this stuff through the Serpentarium, okay? It's just a chain of stores, but their website is awesome, and we have gotten good customer service. It's very similar to Reptile Basics, but they, for one, ship to Alaska, and two, they do not give us crap, right? I don't know why. We've just not had good luck with the customer service from Reptile Basics. That doesn't mean they don't have good customer service. We just haven't had a good experience, so we've just pretty much stopped using them and we go to the Serpentarium. For our rodents that we don't breed ourselves, for when we buy, we have ordered from Lane Labs before. We really liked them. In fact, we really liked their product, but their prices were kind of high. The other two we use regularly, though, are Perfect Prey and Rodent Pro. We've liked the product. We've liked their shipping practices. They're good companies, right? We're in Alaska, so shipping is absolutely brutal, but they're still good companies. It's not their fault. I mentioned Pro Products. They do the Prevenamite, the heat panels that I mentioned, and they also have a really sweet misting system, but we haven't used that yet, so I can't promise you it's awesome, but I'll bet it's awesome. There's a couple more, so let me just run through these real quick. I mentioned ARS, that we got our rodent rack from. Animal Plastics does really cool racks, enclosures, and we have some of those. We have loved our Animal Plastics enclosures. In fact, I want to do a whole vlog just on those, so I'm not going to go too in-depth here. When we've ordered insects, like feeder insects online, we've generally used rainbow mealworms, and we've really liked them. We've tried some others, but we've had the best luck with rainbow mealworms as far as prices, speed of shipping, cost of shipping, the actual insects themselves, the survival rates during shipping, all of that. We've really liked rainbow mealworms, so I can happily give them a thumbs up and recommend them to you guys. The very last company that I wanted to end on purpose because we just love them is Ship Your Reptiles. Man, they just are above and beyond. They have a really, really tight relationship with FedEx. So, you know, they can put out inquiries, basically, if a shipment didn't get routed correctly, and they're just on it. Like, I'm so panicked about shipments, even after years of doing it safely. I have still had times where Ship Your Reptiles contacts me because they figured out a problem before I even did, you know, because I'm sitting there tracking over and over and over again, renewing the tracking page, and they still find out before me, and they are on it. They're calling FedEx, they're figuring out where it is, they just rock. And their prices are great. They have tutorials and videos to help you figure out how to ship. They have kits, so if you don't want to put together your own equipment, they can send you shipping kits. They're just an absolutely spectacular company. I've never used other shipping companies, but I cannot fathom that they're possibly as awesome as Ship Your Reptiles. Again, I guess I shouldn't say that because I haven't used the other ones, but they're just not as good. There's no way. Anyway, that was a lot. I understand that was a lot and that I've talked very, very fast. I hope, though, that it was still useful and that something I mentioned, maybe you're like, oh, I didn't think of that, or I didn't realize I could get this from this place, or whatever. I hope that something in here will ease your reptile husbandry a little bit, that you'll have a product that can save you some time or some money or increase the living quality of your reptile, or something can improve because of this. We have a lot of products that we use for the business. We really do. And I wanted to highlight a few of the things that I feel are absolutely worth buying, the professional product, and some things like this stick that I don't think you should go buying sticks, right? I wanted to try to help you, at least with our experience. Some people might think differently, but just to figure out what is worth spending your money on and what can you kind of DIY on your own, you know? Anyways, that is all. I'm looking around, making sure I talked about all of these awesome products. And hopefully you enjoyed this. This was a video that we had, you know, discussed, and a bunch of people in the comments asked us to do it, so we figured we'd do it. Anyway, that is all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we're the Reptile Barn.